Right then, lads, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. So Arsenal are looking for a central midfielder in this summer. They've been looking for a central midfielder for quite some time. I think ever since Santi Cazorla, Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey leaving the club, they've not found a perfect player to sit in that pivot alongside Granit Xhaka. And even when they brought in Thomas Partey, I don't think Arsenal found a perfect player to play with Thomas Partey. With Mikel Arteta trying to play that 4-3-3 formation, at least emphasizing a single pivot and two central attacking midfielders, Arsenal this summer will need to find someone who has the technical ability to match that of Martin Odegaard. So in this video, we are going to suggest 5 players that Arsenal should be signing as central midfielders. Some of them have been linked with the club already, and some of them probably have not. But I'm going to give you the reasoning behind every name I've put on my list. Let's go. In number 5, I've gone with Jude Bellingham. I think, he's English. Number 1, he's English. So coming from Borussia Dortmund, he will be going to an English club. He's been linked with Liverpool. He's been linked with Manchester United. And I agree. Probably it's not a summer where he's going to be moving. Borussia Dortmund might feel like they want to keep him despite the fact that any club could come in with huge amounts of money. They want to keep him. After selling Jude Bellingham, they don't want to lose 2 of their best players, in one summer. But if you look at what Arsenal are looking at, if you look at what Arsenal are looking for, a player who can press very well, a player who has a lot of discipline, a player you can trust, a player who has a lot of creativity to his game, and very, very strong defensive attributes. In my opinion, Jude Bellingham should be one player Arsenal are looking at in terms of a central midfielder. Very young in terms of the age profiles, fits into what Arsenal are trying to do, signing in young players in that profile, 21, 22, 23, 24. For me, he would be a perfect signing. And if you just put him alongside Thomas Partey and Martin Odegaard in that midfield 3, I don't think there would be more quality you're asking for from a central midfielder. And one of the things that I love about Jude Bellingham is the fact that he's not really that injury prone. He's gonna guarantee you 30 games, 32, 33 games in a campaign. Otherwise, that is what Arsenal are really looking at. So for me, Jude Bellingham, if Arsenal want to get a quality central midfielder, like I said, Dortmund might not want to sell as early as this summer, and also probably the asking price is going to be very high. Although Dortmund bought him in at around 35 million euros, they might be looking at around 80 to 100 million euros. But if Arsenal want to bring in quality, extra quality, just like Madrid have brought in players like Aurelien Tchouameni, for me, Jude Bellingham is a no-brainer. In number 4, Fabian Ruiz at Napoli, recently linked with Arsenal. I think he's also another player that is very, very good. The difference with Fabian Ruiz, he predominantly plays in that double pivot, not as a left central attacking midfielder, but plays in that he plays in that in that pivot of 2, and there is no problem really, because if you look at how Mikel has lined up this season, it's been in a 4-2-3-1 system, although predominantly when the team starts setting out, they play in a 4-3-3, a single pivot for with Thomas Partey, and then 2 central attacking midfielders ahead of him in Martin Odegaard and Granit Xhaka. So Fabian Ruiz is another player that brings a lot to Arsenal. He has the experience that you're looking for, the maturity. Yes, he might not be that big, that much big of a winner, but I think if Arsenal brought him in, that would be a massive upgrade to Granit Xhaka. Probably many people feel Xhaka should be staying in the position, but with Arsenal looking here and there for a central midfielder, it only shows you that they're already ready to move on from Granit Xhaka as a central midfielder. So for me, I won't be very surprised if Fabian Ruiz is one of the players that Arsenal really press very hard to get. It could be a very cheap deal because he's running down, his contract is running down, and he has refused to commit his future to FC Napoli. So if they can get that one done, not the one that I would really love to see Arsenal sign, but I think he's another very good one. Number 3, Houssem Aouar. Yes, back again in the news. He's been linked with Arsenal again. in the past couple of weeks. I've not really reported about that on Costi's Arsenal podcast, but it's been, there've been a couple of reports that Inter Milan, Tottenham Hotspur, and Arsenal are all interested in Houssem Aouar. The truth about this is this. I think Houssem Aouar is one player that Mikel Arteta knows he is what he is looking for. But I don't get the reasoning behind why Arsenal are not pushing as hard as they can to get Houssem Aouar. His numbers are very, very good. They are very legit. And if you look at his versatility, typically what Arsenal are looking for. A player who can play in that pivot with Thomas Partey. A player who can also play ahead of Thomas Partey if they decided to use a single pivot. And also with Houssem Aouar, you can use him in a 4-3-3 formation, and you can use him in that in those three players, in the final three, on the final line of three. That is the beauty with him. You can play him on the left wing, on the right wing. You can play him in the left midfield, on the right midfield, or even in that single pivot. Very young, very impressive. I know Mikel Arteta loves the player. Edu loves the player as well. But I think Arsenal were frustrated by Lyon last summer, but one when they tried to sign him. A deal had almost been agreed, and then on the last minute, it actually fell apart. Since then, Arsenal have not tried to sign a central midfielder seriously until this summer. But for me, Houssem Aouar, again, if Arsenal are looking for a player who can affect the final third of the game, bring in key passes, do those progressive carries for you, he is the man. And his passing is also absolutely visionary, technically gifted, highly talented. One player that I would really recommend Arsenal to go for, because he's going to be a cheap deal. I think Lyon will be asking for around 30 to 35 million euros for a player of his quality. That is just okay. Yes, I know there are so many central midfielders that are going to be going for that price or even less than that. But if you're looking out for real quality, Houssem Aouar, real quality for me. Arsenal should be getting him. Number 2, I've gone with Yuri Tillemans, linked with Arsenal. He's Arsenal's priority signing of the summer, and I don't see why Arsenal should not actually get him. Played in the Premier League, did come in from Monaco, played in the Premier League with Leicester City. Highly gifted, technically gifted. He's so talented. I think he's one of those players that are really exciting on the ball. He has his own disadvantages, especially when it comes to losing the ball and not being able to fight for it and track back. But apart from that, if you can eliminate that in his game, or if you can put a player like Bissouma or Thomas Partey behind him, a player who can complete those tackles and win the ball back as on a very, very successful rate as Partey does or as Bissouma does, then I think you have a very, very good player in Yuri Tillemans. Can also score a couple of goals each season. In the Premier League, he's been averaging at least 8 to 9 goal involvements per campaign. Yeah, not the best of what you're looking for in a central midfielder who should be playing very, very close to goal. But I think if he joins a club like Arsenal, if Arsenal getting a good striker, he can add more assists to his to his game. And then he's one player that is really happy to come into the penalty area and give it a go. Try a couple of shots and also try to go on to rebounds on a couple of occasions. So for me, Yuri Tillemans, for me, he's not the perfect one. Like I said, my perfect central midfielder would be Jude Bellingham. And Yuri Tillemans, the fact that he doesn't have any defensive output, not to suggest that he's so poor to that extent, but he's proven to be a defensive liability for Leicester City this season. But I would definitely take him at Arsenal. But number 1, why not Lucas Paqueta? Lucas Paqueta has been one of those very interesting players to watch in the French League this season. 2 campaigns now with Lyon. They signed him on a bargain from AC Milan, and I thought when they signed him, then it was. The first thought that had come to my head was Arsenal signing in Houssem Aouar, and that's why Paqueta has moved to Lyon. But they've actually bonded very well in that Lyon midfield. Even after losing Bruno Guimaraes, I think they've been absolutely superb. He's one of those players that can do that are doing a lot of progressive carries and dribbles in the French League. Actually, he's completing. Is completing more dribbles than any other player in the French League behind Kylian Mbappe, I think it's Kylian Mbappe and Sofiane Buffon. The only two players are completing more dribbles than him in the French League. So you can see, look, the beauty around Lucas Paqueta is you can play him just like House Moa. You can play him as a central midfielder. You can play him as in that double pivot. You can play him as a left wing, as a left attacking midfielder, right attacking midfielder, and you can also play him as a false nine. That's the beauty, beauty around him. Very, very versatile. I did a video around him, I think a couple of months ago actually, and the focus was why Arsenal should sign him, because his defensive output is very, very beautiful, and his offensive output is absolutely reliable as well. And that's why I thought Arsenal needed to sign him. So if Jude Bellingham is going to go for around 100 million euros, and Lyon can listen to offers around 75 to 70 million euros for Lucas Paqueta, my reasoning and my understanding is Arsenal need the that upgrade in quality, and Lucas Paqueta would be a good signing. Leave your recommendations below. What are your 5 names that Arsenal should be thinking and looking at in terms of a central midfielder?